Reddit by Planet Reddit. What did you learn too late in life? Stay away from people who always see themselves as the victim in situations. Wow, I feel like this comment is targeted directly at me. So we should stay away from people like you. So I'll end up abandoned, just as always. Your parents aren't right all the time. I feel like if kids realized this earlier in life, maybe they wouldn't hold their parents to unrealistically high standards. Edit. Gosh, this escalated quickly. Like, quickly. I'm sorry so many of you guys apparently have tumultuous relationships with your parents. Take the bitter for the better. Part of that is on the parents to tell the kids that they're wrong sometimes and to apologize when they are and always strive to improve. Being able to admit error as an adult model is crucial to a child's development. My son and I have epic dialogues about what he learns in social studies. I am a history geek, so he likes to pick that extra layer of knowledge. I'm not perfect. One example. I got a year wrong by a trivial amount and my 11-year-old son roasted me. 1776. How did you mess that one up, Dad? Dep, I responded. Oh shit, you're right. Silly mistake. Good catch, my man. And he loves it when those mistakes are caught. It humanizes his parents and feels like they're contributing to the family knowledge pool. If you let people take advantage of you, they will. Entrepreneurial pursuits will drive this fact home 1000%. Adding to this, everyone trying entrepreneurship is always trying to min-max input and output. Not only that, if you're partnered with someone, they want to know that you aren't a pushover. On a more human side, entrepreneurs are humans too. A lot are dealing with uncertainty that wasn't there when they had a job. Realizing this will help in dealing with them. It's embarrassing for me, but reading naturally, not forcing myself to do it. I'm 24, and 3 years ago I finished my first chapter book. I was so happy. I have since taught myself how to read complex literature, but yeah, definitely how to read well. Congratulations and keep it up. Did you never have to read in school? I love to read, but I loathe reading in school. It's something about not reading by choice. Having a deadline makes it seem like work, especially when you don't even get to choose the book. It sucks. Hard work doesn't sell itself. Can you elaborate or provide an example? I'm not exactly sure I understand. Ignore the person who said do 1/4 the work. The point is more. Do a great job, but be sure to advocate for yourself and make sure your hard work doesn't go unnoticed. Working smart pays off more than working hard. Nothing will change on its own. You have to change it yourself, and no one coming to help you unless you help yourself before. Also, we only grow when we are uncomfortable. Change and progress shouldn't be easy. Whether you're working out, staying late at the office, or working up the courage to go out and meet someone, you only grow if you're uncomfortable. Edit. Someone is growing having read my comment. Honestly, I feel uncomfortable with who I am, and lately I've been making an effort to change a lot of bad habits I have. Starting with my filter. I've never had a GF, so maybe changing the way I am can bring some positivity about that aspect. We'll see. That my own happiness is the thing I need to focus on. Doing stuff alone is okay, and actually gratifying. I'm responsible for my own happiness. I can't even be responsible for my own breakfast. Yes, this does not preclude having a loved one enjoy the experience, just not mandated to have someone else be a requirement. That HR is not your friend. That not everyone has good intentions despite putting on a kind face. That real family isn't bound by blood. HR is a joke. It's not a joke, it's just missing words. Treating humans like resources. For the company, HR is 100% about protecting the company. OSHA and other things might be about protecting the people workers, but not HR. OSHA is about protecting insurance companies. Holy crap, everyone talking about deep personal introspection. I just came here to say at 29-year-old, I learned that, while I knew the light bulb inside the oven is not what cooks the food, it never crossed my mind the idea of it being pretty hot after a couple hours of being lit, and that I should not touch it with my bare hand. Finally, a brighter comment on Mayo. It's okay not to have a romantic relationship in high school or even college. I started wigging out about it when I was like 13. I can't believe how much energy and stress I expended on a situation that was totally fine and normal. I was definitely not ready to have a relationship in high school or probably even college. I just wasn't mature enough or in the right place. I completely over-romanticized, pardon the pun, the whole concept. It solves a lot of problems, but it brings a whole host of new ones. I also didn't realize how much my friends and others I saw were exaggerating or even outright lying about how great it was to be with someone, all the sex they were having, and how perfect and happy they were. As it turns out, making people believe you are a happy couple is way easier than being one. My single days were the times when I grew the most and followed my dreams the most effectively. Being in love and partnered is great, but it's a trade-off. This is some advice I needed. I'm 20 and haven't even kissed a girl. Have been stressing out over it for a long time due to all my friends hyping up relationships. I probably won't believe this at first, but hoping this makes me start thinking about it. I had my first kiss at the age of 23 and now I am getting married with this wonderful woman. I know exactly how you feel, but trust me, there is nothing wrong with it and you will get there when you least expect it. Oh, and kissing is really awkward the first time. I totally blew it, but that's fine. Haha. Focus on achieving your life goals. Man, in my experience I've been way happier when I'm free to pursue my goals. It's never too late to obtain a skill, especially a useful one. I feel it's too late to have time for a new skill. During quarantine I learned a ton on making games and Unity and I love it. I'm getting somewhat decent, but now that I'm back at work, what little free time I have I'm just tired and can't focus on it. I'd take a year off and really make something cool, but I just can't afford it. Nobody becomes an expert overnight. Just keep tinkering and learning. Honestly, the tech landscape changes so much. What was relevant a year ago isn't always now anyway. If your goal is to get a job, then sometimes excitement, demonstrated effort, and willingness to learn is all you need to get your foot in the door. It's not always easy, but some of my best hires had very little experience and went on to be amazing devs. If your goal is to make something cool, I bet you're already doing that. Start small and try and appreciate the beauty in what you've made as you make it. You don't need some massive project for something to be great. Just look at old Atari games for example. I believe in you. Always add things in your toolbox. Eventually helicopter parents will need to be cut off if you want to live your life. This shit never ends. Not at 20, or 25, or 30. I'm 17 and going into my senior year of high school. As I was looking for colleges, my mom straight up said, "You're not moving out for college. You're going to a college in this state." She also looks down on the career I'm planning on going in. We are the richest family and she insists that I get a job that pays very well. I was just thinking that when I turn 18 she'll probably tone it down a bit. Apparently not. Edit. Spelling. There's wisdom from those who are older since they've gone through the hoops before, but it doesn't necessarily mean they know what's best. Make your decisions, but do keep your mind and options open. Job choices matters in the long run due to availability, lifestyle and livable wage, and moving out matters since it'll be your life for the next 2-4 years or even more. Yes, you can move out, but be prepared for the struggle that will come with it. Just keep in mind that in-state tuition tends to be cheaper. Of course you should go for the program that best accomplishes your goals, but you might have to pay for that yourself. To take care of my teeth. It's costly and headache inducing right now. I have been flossing daily for many years, but it was well into my 20s when I started doing so. Not sure why it took me so long. Now it feels good, and if you take care of your teeth, going to the dentist isn't miserable. Cheers. Nothing better than a 20-minute trip with a bit of polishing and checking around followed with your teeth look excellent. Keep it up and see you in another 6 months. 6 hours in the chair and $2,000 so far for my teen 6 cavities. Extreme pain, time, and money spent to fix something totally avoidable. If it takes less than 5 minutes, do it now. I have been procrastinating all kinds of easy to do tasks until a year ago when I read that advice here on Reddit. TBH, I'm still procrastinating a bit, but not as much as before. Thank you, random stranger who wrote this. I second this. I had the realization one day that I was spending more time and energy thinking about a task than it actually would have taken to just do the task. There are some things I still procrastinate on, but the cleanliness of my home has greatly improved. If in doubt, smash it out. Words I try to live by when I hesitate to do small shit. ADHD me lets everything pile up and suddenly I have too many 5-minute jobs that need doing. Get overwhelmed and procrastinate harder. You're absolutely right. That if you take care of yourself, work on your social skills and just learn from mistakes, you will be attractive to the majority of women. Especially after 25. Yep, agreed. I think this goes for everyone. Take care of yourself physically and emotionally, and you'll be more attractive and emotionally available. Just add money. At QPV, some of the most repulsive people I ever met were loaded with cash. Flush with cash is not a personality trait, and hating those who have money, while completely ignoring sound self-improvement advice observations, just makes you sound bitter and insecure. Every time someone offers some sound advice on Reddit on how bettering oneself in healthy ways can actually make you attractive, there always seems to be that one guy going, yeah, and money, good looks, a big house, car / six-pack, etc. And it just reminds me about how nice guys complain that only the chads get the girls because women are apparently a species too shallow and impervious to appreciate all the quality nice guys out there. It's easier to stay in shape than to get back in shape. Learning this the hard way at 22 after a few years of not taking care of myself. I've learned that lots of times over 60 something years. I'm about to learn it again. I've been living like a veal calf since COVID came calling. Edit typo. Thank you for giving me a great way to describe my current lifestyle. This is extremely, aggressively true. Also, even if you're in basically okay shape, getting into great shape gets way harder as you get older. All that stuff I thought wouldn't hit me, like sore back, more fatigue from basic stuff, slower healing from injuries, being more prone to small injuries, more, bigger health issues, etc. That when you're a kid think happens to people when they're like 45, nah fam, 25, you stop growing, you start dying, and every year older you get you need to spend more time each day taking care of yourself. That is one of the reasons why old people are pretty much always in fairly strict routines. It's not that your love of spontaneity fades away, although that is part of it, but just taking care of your body and mind eventually takes so long that it's close to your entire day where you're doing something you need to do to make sure you feel alright tomorrow. So however old you are, start now because you're not invincible at any age. Also, there will be times in life where some stuff catches you off guard and you will wish you were going into it at 100%. The bad stuff will hit you so much harder if you're not in a healthy place mentally and physically, whether it be an illness, death of a loved one, loss of a job or relationship, etc. Keeping a healthy routine above and beyond what you think you need will make it so that when life throws real challenges at you, you can tackle them from a position of strength. Wouldn't exactly say too late, but now I am 32, I am actually learning how to eat properly and manage to stop binge eating as much. I'm still fat but slowly losing weight. Proud of you. Keep up the good work, and don't panic when weight loss slows down. That doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it wrong. Yes, I keep seeing that message being said. I'm happy now. My better food habits are helping my 2 young boys to try more things, and hopefully teach them better. Being lonely for any reason, not enough friends, not enough good friends, moving to a new situation and leaving old friends behind, can lead you to make some pretty foolish social decisions. Even people who are normally quite confident and good at picking up on social cues will find themselves acting oversensitive, desperate, and or falling into some pretty ill-advised infatuations. If you're lonely when you're alone, you're in bad company. Jean-Paul Sartre. The less you care, the happier you are. I just passed 1 year clean from Facebook. It's really helped in the not caring department. Dumping FB in late 2018 was one of the best things I ever did. Congrats to you both. 3 years and counting since I deleted my FB page. Haven't missed it a single day since. One small mistake can lead to a lifetime of regrets and misery. I told myself to pull over when I was driving late at night but ignored it and I crashed head-on in the freeway. I am now crippled and almost cost my family the entire wealth because of the lawsuit, which the guy dropped, thank God, and we were approved for medical. Thank God for that too. TLDR. Never ever 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 drive tired. I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm glad my wake up call was less destructive. My mom always told me driving tired was statistically just as bad as driving drunk. But I figured I knew my limits, and driving drunk was done by idiots just out to have a good time who were too selfish to care about others. I was driving tired because I was working tons of hours at close to minimum wage trying to make ends meet, so I justified it as being okay. Well, I didn't know my limits, and apparently fell asleep at the wheel. Waking up to your car scraping the median of the highway as you're going 70 miles per hour is a terrifying experience. Ruined a good car. Could have terribly hurt myself or someone else. Will never do it again. Here's the list, y'all. Nothing good happens after midnight. Just go to bed. Always double down on an 11 in blackjack. Get the right tools for the job. Always have a backup plan. A closed mouth gathers no foot. Feel free to keep adding. Nothing good happens after midnight. I don't agree with that. Fast forward. Playing 50v50 Warzone. Nothing good happens after midnight. Just go to bed. That. I can only relax at night. I'd much rather sleep through mornings and afternoons. Not to give ucks to people because honestly, all my misery came from giving too much ucks to them. Man, you just wanna be nice, but then there are those people that make you hate everyone. Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Knowledge has no power on its own. It only becomes powerful when combined with other things. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Albert Einstein. What is the other things? Anything else? Really? You may know a lot about cooking and chemistry, but if you don't apply that knowledge while you do so, your dishes will suck. You may know a lot about security, design patterns, how to make your app scalable, but if you ignore that knowledge, your precious app will simply fail. While yes, knowing a lot is cool, knowing how to apply that knowledge and actually doing so is what makes knowledge so powerful. Join our community Discord, link in description. Time flies much more quickly than we realize. I realized this upon high school graduation when I noticed how high school just flew by. For now, I'm comforted by the fact that, barring tragedy, I have at least half of my life left. It'll be no time before I won't be saying that anymore. 50 or so years ago, a Canadian boy from Manitoba wrote a song on his 19th birthday lamenting his lost childhood. A girl from Alberta heard it and wrote a song in reply to reassure him things would be okay. Fart gets louder. Sorry grandma for making fun of you. Now that you mention it, I remember busting out way more SBDs as a kid and teen. Those aren't really a thing for me anymore. It's better to try, fail, learn, and move on than to do nothing for fear of failure. Alcohol is not good for me. If you wonder why you don't feel great and full of energy and happiness like when you were a kid, it's not that you're just older. It's because you're not sober, not eating well, and not exercising. I just turned 44 on Thursday and feel like I'm 21. 2 years ago I felt like I was 75. I got dead sober and forced myself to start jogging every evening. At first I could barely run down the block and back. Now I can run for miles and not even be tired, just sweaty. Once I started running, my body started craving good food and not junk. I got serious about my diet and now can fit back in same jeans I wore in college. It's worth it, man. And it's not even hard. Are you Macho Man Randy Savage? I spent lots of time being angry and upset that I didn't have a silver spoon until I realized how easy life gets when you take responsibility for your own damn self. It wasn't that late, but late enough. Once I got it together and figured out that I could do whatever I set my mind to doing, within reason, it's gotten so much better. Always remember, life owes you nothing. It actually depends on you. You owe everything to your future life. You cannot control destiny or the past, but you can prepare for that which you cannot control. Get busy. Getting things done feels much better than doing nothing. We all need to relax, but being lazy gets you nowhere. Pick up a creative hobby and make something. Exercise, volunteer, spend the majority of your time being active, and then rest when you need to. The world is much more interesting than your couch. Took me a very long time to realize this. Instant noodles come with that small bag of flavor. Were you just eating plain noodles? Asking the real questions. Well, you've been missing out. that it is, in fact, illegal to smoke weed on a train platform. That self-esteem is what brings you inner peace and happiness. Nothing external will if you don't have inherent self-worth and love yourself. That agreeing with other people to keep the peace is not good. That putting others before you and never worrying about yourself is not good either. I've been doing so my entire life. I learned not to today. In the IT world, certifications matter more than college degrees. I learned I didn't hate tomatoes. Commercially grown tomatoes just suck. Heirloom variety and garden grown tomatoes are fantastic. Commercially grown fruits and vegetables are just bad. There is a farm by my house that has a stand open on the weekends, in season, and the food is more expensive but it's so much better than supermarket. Their fruit is awesomely refreshing on a hot day. How to do taxes. Literally no one teaches you, even though it should be a basic taught in school. Taxes shouldn't be so difficult, it requires an education. TurboTax has lobbyists that ensure it stays difficult. If you know how to read and follow instructions, you know how to do your taxes. Yep, for like 80% of people who just have one or two W2s, taxes are simple. It's when you get into having a lot of side jobs, investments, etc. where it gets a little more complicated and worth hiring someone to help minimize your tax liability. Definitely worth paying a few hundred to save a few thousand on taxes. When and where to draw lines and set boundaries. If I had known this when I was younger, I would have been a much happier and healthier person. Always tell family you love them. Unless they are abusive, then it's okay to walk away. Invest in what you use, that is, buy shares in companies that provide services you use. Assuming you use them because they are good, so will other people, and that will help with their success. I was a Netflix customer when they were doing DVD by mail. I had a Gmail account by invitation. I did all my Christmas shopping online at Amazon in 2001. I bought pet food at pets.com. Okay, not a perfect system. I've been a Costco member for 20 years. My portfolio would be a lot richer if I invested in businesses I use. I used Blockbuster quite a bit. I wouldn't say it's too late, but for sure for some stuff it is. Always remember, these are the good old days. I don't care what you're going through. Unless you are mid-tragedy, these are the good old days. Even if things are stressful and stupid and the money's tight, you'll look back on these days with such fondness in a few years. You don't have to cherish the hard times, but try and appreciate what you do have instead of focusing on what you don't. It doesn't make you weak to ask for help. In my case, this relates to my clinical depression. For a long time I thought that depression was just feeling suicidal. Depression can be a lot of things for lots of different people. In my case, I just felt lethargic and completely unmotivated. After seeking help from doctors and attending therapy and getting medication, I feel much better now. If you feel like you need help, ask for it. On average, I think most people are kinder than you think if you take the time to explain your situation. Talent is related more to hard work than it is to genetics. How to invest properly and how to trade stocks. When I graduated university, I kind of had an idea of what to do, but never took the time to really learn the ins and outs because it seemed complicated. I pretty much let the bank take care of my finances. While in quarantine, I've had time to read and watch YouTube videos about trading and investing. Turns out it's actually quite easy. I really wish I would have learned this all 15 years ago. That I am awesome. I spent so long believing that I wasn't, that I never bothered to do or try anything when I was young enough to have wanted to. Now I realize that I was pretty yucking great when I was younger, and I feel just a little bitter about all the things I missed out on. Low self-esteem sucks. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.